What's up? Welcome in to January the probably 29th Friendship Emulator. We got Monty. Hello.
Howdy. Monty K in the house.
Monti Korbelle. Just a homie from the onlines. And
Sure.
I've brought you here today to discuss internet videos and music and shit.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess to introduce myself, I make music. Find me on Spotify, Monti Korbelle, Monty with an I, Belle spelled like Beauty and the Beast. EDM stuff. I don't watch as much Fishtank as you do, so maybe.
No,
you can
it's
help
not
me
like
get up
it's
to
not
speed.
like a fish tank digest program. It's just like my
Okay.
hyper obsession at the moment. Martin
I
is
know
not
about hyper obsessions.
Martin is not as into it as I am, but he is nice enough to talk to me about it, and like he follows a couple accounts and shit.
Okay.
No, it's almost over. I'm not really watching. I'd
So
say I'm not
what I
watching
saw
religiously. What was the
What I
last thing
saw
you
was the girl. There was this girl who paid $25,000 to stay the night there on the show, which is insane to me.
Oh, the girl
The
with
fish
the
tank B&B, they called it, the Airbnb, but for fish tank.
there was a random staff member that someone postulated might have been one of those. Because there was like a random guy that hung out for like 6 hours one day and then just disappeared.
What the
He
hell?
wasn't even doing anything. And then someone else was speculating that one of the other freeloaders was one of those. But she was confirmed, right? She the girl with the extensions?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a blonde girl. She sort
Yeah.
of looks like Addison Rae from TikTok.
She started getting her hair cut off by Frank Hassel, and then
That's right, yeah.
and then
That's
she
why,
was
if you're a woman and you want to go on that show, you better be ready to like lose all of your hair.
it's
It's
like
the
they have
third
a
account
fetish for it or something.
I think it's terribly sad. I'm growing out my hair. I'm a guy, so I mean, it doesn't matter if my hair gets cut, but like it took me 2 years for it to even get like down my neck. And you have long
I-
hair too, don't you? Like
I
it took
just
a while,
cut it
didn't
actually. I just cut
Whoa.
it. It's really short now. But
How
I had
short?
it for
What'd
a
you get,
long
like a
time and I
fade?
loved it. No, I just cut it with scissors. It's actually kind of shaggy.
Oh shit, you did it yourself? Okay, cool.
Um,
Does it look okay? I don't know how
yeah,
experienced you are
I
in
have.
cutting
I
hair.
look. I think I actually look better with short hair. I just I just wanted to do the long thing for a while because I felt like it was like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
So
a long
what, then?
story,
You just-
but yeah.
Oh. It's cutting
The-
your hair is a long story.
No,
Or growing
cutting
it out is a long story.
I feel like cutting your hair is never a long story. You know what I mean? When you
So
do
you
it,
just got annoyed with it?
no, I did it in a fit of passion at my lowest point in life.
happens.
I'm joking, but not really. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, we're definitely entering a new phase of our life right now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it made sense, you know.
Yeah. I love doing that type of shit where it's like, okay, this is going to mark like the next chapter. Like I have a bunch of tattoos. That sort of is like a lot of my tattoos are just like irrelevant to me now because they just represent my obsession at the time. Like we were just
Yeah.
saying, we have obsessions. Yeah.
Hyper reality.
Obsessions.
No,
Yeah.
the hair thing though, it's sad. In a weird way, I'm like slightly more attracted to Taylor from Fishtank after
Now that she's bald?
it's weird, but maybe I'm like a little fruity or
Interesting.
something. I just think she like it almost like emphasizes like her like wiry frame in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I
She
don't
definitely
know.
looks different. I think when she cut her hair, someone said like, "Oh, you look like," I forgot what name they said, but he was like, "You look like a guy named Elmer," or something like that.
There was Sid from Toy Story, the bad The bad guy, the bad kid who has the fucked up toys in Toy Story,
Oh yeah, with the funny face.
or Seven of Nine. She looks kind of like
Yeah, she
from
has sort of a Polish face. I wouldn't be surprised if she was Polish in heritage. Kind of that upturned nose that you see people have
she's
sometimes.
from Texas. Are there Polish people in Texas?
Oh, I have no idea.
I
Texas.
wonder.
Interesting.
She's probably like a mutt that like moved around, but I could see that. I could
I
see that.
wonder how Summer is doing. I can't
I
think of
followed.
Kansas now without thinking of Summer.
She followed me.
He follows you. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, she followed me back. And actually, the current Twitter avatar for the Friendship Emulator account is a picture of her.
Well, okay. Well, that's one way to get her
So,
attention.
That's it's a hyper obsession. It's a really dare I say kino shot of
Okay, yeah.
her peeking, like half of her face is like below the frame. It's like a really good like screenshot.
Okay. I haven't seen it, but that's pretty funny.
Well, she was only yeah. I don't know.
Oh, she's like active on Twitter now. Is she okay? Or
She was in the hospital for like a couple weeks, I think.
my God, jeez.
She said
Wow.
that she was actively on medication the whole time, but she's a PTSD diagnosis, and she claims that she had mania. And she's doing this thing where there might be like an expose on how she was treated, and I think she went a little. She didn't really put it into strict terms what happened, but like, yeah.
I mean, if she's gonna threaten the integrity of the show, like blame them for wanting her off the show.
No,
That's
she
just
like
business.
she took pictures of like bruises on her knees and shit, and was like
I
claims
see.
that she was like drugged and claims to have confirmation from some sort of authority on this.
Um, let's just entertain this as an actual possibility that the fish tank contestants are being drugged.
I just no,
This-
I feel like what did she what could have happened? Like they mixed up her medication with someone else's.
Oh, okay. Yes, it could have been an accident. I don't know. I mean, you see the way the house is just trashed. Like there's like a fold up chair just stuck in the wall. Like the place is just
For the
ruined. And
for the
I feel like
ending
you
right
have to be on
now.
drugs to just walk around and feel like everything's okay here.
Well, there was
Doesn't bother me.
alcohol and nicotine. Maybe she thinks alcohol and nicotine constitute drugging. I don't know. But it's not like anyone was like peer pressured into drinking. That was like a thing that some people are claiming. There's a lot of white knight folks coming for. They really come out of the woodwork when there seems to be foul play.
Was it ever explained why they're so why they're promoting smoking so much, smoking cigarettes?
I don't know, but I was thinking about that and I hate it because I'll
Kinda
never be
weird.
able to.
Even Jet will just be like sitting around smoking cigarettes. It's just like so weird to look at.
Yeah, Bex, Ben, all the staff,
Yeah.
Josie and Vance. I don't know. Maybe they were like instructed not to. They're not allowed to get them delivered to them.
I see.
But yeah, I'll never be able to watch back and like enjoy this season without wanting to smoke, and I want to quit smoking.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, I guess I
And
didn't think of
I'm
that.
like gonna quit smoking, but like I guess it's not watching watching reruns of Fish Tank season 2 is not the biggest deal, I guess. Who
Yeah, I
knows
wonder
where the
if
show's
it's-
gonna go?
Yeah, I mean they're thinking about like, what if we had 10 seasons, And they said like if they get that far, like they're just gonna start doing
Jet said
ridiculous things.
Jet said, I'll do this until somebody kills me. Which is just an edgy way of saying I'll do this until I die.
Yeah. Jeez, good. He won the lottery when it comes to like expressing yourself creatively. Like he not only gets to do what he wants to do, but he's doing it at its fullest capacity, and like he's appreciated it for it too. Like this
Um,
just started as some sort of idea, and the way it blossomed, like it's way better than whatever the original thought was.
yeah,
It's really incredible to see.
there was like the phrase Hell House that came out of one of like Sam's streams. And
I remember seeing that clip. Yeah,
from that, I thought that Sam was really the brainchild, but I don't think I think Jet really is the brainchild. Like he had the concept. I think I read
right.
something about him having the concept like years ago, originally.
I remember seeing that Hell House idea, the clip of that, way before
And they're like cracking up
Fish
about,
Tank, and then suddenly Fish Tank came out, and I'm like, holy shit, what? How is this happening?
yeah, I never had the desire to like tune in to the MDE stuff until it's just like a crazy, it's such a creative idea, I think.
Yeah.
And it's not actually
Yeah,
good.
I mean, Sam Hyde like was pretty successful like with Adult Swim and stuff, and then he just had like this hiatus after he was hit by controversy. And he just wasn't making stuff for years, and now suddenly it's like Sam Hyde comeback season, and
Yep.
he's huge. He's huge now.
He did
It's
something with his
wild.
money, maybe. I don't know. I think he did something
Okay.
with his brand. Like he just like slowly brought his brand back.
I see. Yeah,
I
with
don't know.
like maybe his podcast, and then he's doing
Like in the
things
cultural
here and there.
shift of like 2016 and like people not being like navel gazers like they used to.
Right.
Like I'm like one of
Yeah, I
those
mean,
people.
we're in completely different times compared to how we were in 2016. Like, I think they talk about the political pendulum swinging, and I think we're on the other side now.
Yeah,
Like,
you
we're not
hear
living in the
like
political correctness anymore like we were in 2016.
you hear like
At
song
least not as
lyrics.
extreme.
You hear like song lyrics from like 2015, 2014 or something. And that if it's like some like political folk band or punk band or something, and it's like it's rough. It's kind of
Yeah.
cringy. It's rough to listen to. You don't like to hear. You don't love to hear it. But yeah,
Amazing that we lived through 2016. Like, people, we talk about times of the past, like, oh, like this is what the 90s were like, this is what the 70s were like. Like 2016, it's like its own creature. Like it stands out from the decade that it exists in.
yeah,
It's,
it's like the boiling point. It's like the what do you call it? Like the climax or like peak of like a graph.
oh
Or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, climax, yeah. Or it's maybe
It's the
when the
little.
story starts to get good.
It's the little blip in the lie detector test.
Oh, the spike. Yeah.
uh that brief moment, but then like the 2 or 3 years surrounding it. Really weird. Really weird
Yeah.
transformations. Um
We'll
yeah,
see where it goes. I mean, we're in an election year again. We'll see.
that
We'll
was
see where it
another
goes.
funny thing they did on Fishtank, by the way, is they gave
What's
everyone
that?
lie detector tests.
Oh, I missed that. That's funny.
It was
So,
kind of funny.
did anything get exposed that maybe wouldn't have been exposed without the lie detector test?
I'm not sure. I think they.
Okay.
I don't know if they revealed the results or not. The other thing they're doing now is like painting and putting like fake brambles and shit everywhere to turn the house into a swamp.
What? Oh my god.
They're calling
They
it
already turned
Swamp
it into a
Olympics.
beach.
Yeah,
Oh my god. They won't be able to. How are they going to fix this house? Like, how are you going to get sand
I heard
out
it
of the
was
house?
a quote unquote tear down, which I didn't know was a thing.
Whoa! So they could do whatever they want.
They're just gonna-
They could definitely make it into a swamp.
Well, they no, they
Whoa.
literally like that's why I was confused a few days ago. They like ripped out entire walls except for the
Yeah.
banisters, and I was like,
Yeah,
what
and
the
if-
fuck? And then suddenly
You're
there's like
renting
all
the
these
house
like
they did in season one. Like, you can't do that. They had to pay $18,000 for the broken cupboards.
yeah, it was a rental, right?
Yeah, it was a rental. And I
Yeah.
think he like maybe knew the guy, like they had connections somehow, so it wasn't like a completely blindsided situation. but
Yeah, Nick Rochefort.
yeah.
He he's built like 10 or 12 houses in his life or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Sam
think
really
he built his
reveres
own
him.
house.
Like
Yeah.
it was like, yeah, you can like he can do what he wants to do. He's built a dozen houses in his life.
Right.
Which I mean, yeah, I mean, sure. If we're gonna put someone on
That's
top for
true.
anything, why not building houses? No, he's kind of a top G though. He's cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I have friends that say that Nick is funnier than Sam, and I absolutely disagree. I don't know. It's different senses of humor,
He's kind of
but I think
pissy.
Sam is
He isn't
genius when it
willing
comes to comedy.
to he isn't willing to make himself like the butt of a joke like Sam is. Kind of. Not the
Uh,
butt of a joke, but like sort of like clown around, you know? Kind of
when
lower status.
like Nick's sense of humor is more like writing jokes. Well, I think Sam's is more sporadic
Oh yeah, like
or
he'll have
improvised.
like a riff that's like what if it's very like Nick Mullen actually. What if Kermit the Frog was from India?
I think Nick Mullen is the most talented comedian of our time. I don't think anyone beats him.
Yeah, but he's like that's what he does though. He's a riffer.
That's true. Yeah.
Or was it Steve Hart? There's like a Steve Harvey joke.
Oh, I think I know. It's like he's hosting some sort of like or he finds out about the Holocaust or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
And he's like,
The
"You
Nuremberg
did
trials.
what? With the
Steve Harvey.
trains? The trains went where?"
Uh, oh man.
It's a
Yeah.
pretty good one.
What's the Larry the Cable Guy quote that I like to say? I don't care who you are. That's funny right there.
Hmm.
I don't care who you are. No, I had mentioned to you that some of my friends and listeners might find you a bit irreverent, but that's just me. That's me projecting my own self consciousness about my like.
And
I
when
don't
it
know.
comes to the word irreverent, what does that mean? Because I do have a limited vocabulary.
Irreverent, just like maybe you have like a blue what's blue humor or whatever they call it.
Oh man, I
Um,
feel like I'm low IQ. What? I don't know what you're talking about at all. What is blue
like
humor?
I'm trying to think of the
Is
most
that like Amy
charitable way to
Schumer
say it.
or?
No,
No, no, that's all right. You can
blue
just
like
insult me.
politically incorrect. Like without saying
Oh, oh
I
crap. Okay. Ooh.
like but I mean that's irreverent is kind of like code for like that. But well I don't I don't really think that's why I'm saying I'm projecting my own self-consciousness coming from like um basically liberalism. That was a big shift.
Okay.
Meeting you was actually a big shift in like learning to accept Sam Hyde as like a comedian, all that shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like a lot of my friends, like they just assume that I'm liberal, and I don't. I don't really. I'm not a political person. I don't think. I think maybe I lean right. Maybe I'm moderate. I don't know. I don't think about it too much. But like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think there's kind of like a freedom in just sort of claiming wherever you want to stand politically and not like marrying yourself to some ideological group.
yeah. I mean, I come from an ilk of like leftists who dislike centrist liberals. So like,
Okay.
um, the concept of
Oh,
liberalism,
okay.
I
Oh,
think
so your
is
friends won't like me then.
well,
Is that
if
what you're
if
saying?
you consider yourself a
I'm not left enough.
moderate. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I mean, like
I mean,
I would
I like
always
Bernie
have.
Sanders. I thought Bernie Sanders was cool.
Right now, I'm not sure even where I would place myself because,
Okay.
um, yeah, I think far leftists and like, I don't know, like moderate rightoids or whatever, rightoids. I'm talking about charitable language. Moderate right wingers and far leftists, I think, have a common enemy in like centrist liberals, maybe, or even
I didn't even realize that.
left of, I don't know, like in the, I would say in the what, Overton window or whatever, there's a big valley between like the far left. That's the way I view it though, as like somewhat like kind of like an anarchist socialist, where like the far left is like up there, and there's something almost more
So
there's something almost more
why
honorable.
is there?
Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Oh. Well, I was just wondering, like, why is it so disdained to not fully commit to the left in the eyes of the leftists? Like, why is it a sense of like not committing to the ideals
Well,
that
it's like,
creates
I
this
guess
divide?
neoliberalism was a buzzword for a long time.
Right.
And
What is
that
that, like
became
AOC?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. No, yeah, on the left side of it. But yeah, a little bit. Um I think the leftists that I know probably aren't feeling too hot on Bernie and AOC. That's the thing, man. That's the thing.
Oh.
It's like we're fucking
Oh,
we're
shoot.
we're
Okay.
disenfranched. We're a
I'm
people without a
completely lost
home.
on this political spectrum here.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, according to like the
Like
whole,
I would think everyone still likes AOC and especially Bernie Sanders. Like he was a hero to people.
there's leftists that would say AOC like betrayed us for like voting yes on like some spending bill, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
boy. Yeah. Can't keep everyone happy, I guess.
it's, yeah, democracy is well understood by everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, democracy's messy. I don't yeah, I just feel like we're like in a limbo and a stalemate as whatever like Bernie socialists might have, I don't know. Like you're not like for the Bernie tax rates, and I sort
I'm
of
not, no.
I
When I
see
hear
now.
that he said that like 99% income tax is necessary for the rich, it's just okay, that takes it a little bit too far.
99, 96, was it like 2 or 6 or something?
He said the thing is like people would catch him like out in the street and they would ask him like different percentiles and he would just agree to whatever. So there are different. I think I've heard 90, I've heard 99.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz banking on what, like 50% of voters like hating rich people that much, maybe? I don't know.
Right. It's really weird that he goes after the rich so much. I wonder if there's something hidden there. Because you would think like these people in power would always want to cater to the rich, which, money equals power.
Oh, like you think maybe Bernie is like conspiratorial?
I've only recently thought about this, but it just seems a little fishy. And like the thing is too, like a lot of like a lot of celebrities and stuff, like during the Bernie time, like they were all like for him. But if he would have won, they would have been hurt by him. It's just like why what was
Wait,
going on there?
who would have been hurt by him?
Rich celebrities that are saying I'm for Bernie.
Oh,
I feel the
hurt in
burn.
their pocketbooks. Yeah, they would have been. Yeah, possibly. Like if any of those 90th percentile figures are true. Yeah, you're Brad
Yeah,
Pitt.
they're basically just voting for their own destruction at that point. And it's
Yeah.
like, why? What are we missing here?
Well, I guess Brad Pitt isn't one of the richest people though. He's like, I would say he's like in that mid range, like Eyes Wide Shut, goon squad like sector of society.
Brad Pitt was a Bernie bro.
I'm just thinking Mark Ruffalo. Whatever.
Yeah,
I think there's
Sarah
like
Silverman was
there's
one.
like a good handful of them. George Clooney maybe. But those people aren't like billionaires, are they?
I'm looking this up on Twitter now. Yeah, I guess you're right. Like they wouldn't yeah, I guess if they have $50 million, like maybe wouldn't be a crazy difference in them and their taxes. Especially
Someone
since a lot
like
of them don't
Tom
know what to
Hanks
do with their
or
money. They just like give it to charity and stuff anyway.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
someone like Mark Ruffalo or George Clooney or Tom Hanks, voting Democrat. Yeah. I guess that's part of the reason they go for more moderate Democrats is because less severe marginal tax rates,
Yeah.
which is perfectly reasonable, I would say.
It was funny. I saw this clip from, I don't know if you're keeping up with the election here this year. Nikki Haley, are you familiar with her?
Oh yeah, people. There, yeah, she seems to be like all a buzz right now. Someone was talking about her at my place of work.
Okay.
She
Yeah,
said
she's
something.
definitely got a lot of buzz around her name. Yeah.
She said something weird the other day.
Um, there's a lot of things.
It's something anti-Semitic or something. What was it?
Oh, I think I missed this one.
Maybe she was. I was something ridiculous. I don't know.
One thing that concerns me greatly about her is she says that she's going to put into law, if she's president, that every online account will be associated with your government name. Like she basically is going to destroy anonymity.
That's
Say that
crazy. And
word.
they wonder why people say the Nazis were socialist.
And
No, I'm getting. I'm
it's
like
I don't know.
bringing you on here is like such a. It's like a uh power move almost.
Okay, so like I don't even like I always think of myself as like a normal guy, and then like I go out into the world and I have conversations with people, and like maybe like I feel like I surprise people
No,
sometimes.
I feel like I'm being
It's
like
just
prejudiced too. Like I get what you're
okay.
saying. I get what you're saying. I know what you mean. Like you don't want to be like
Yeah.
the token. Like you just said, you're like like centrist, basically.
Really, yeah, I'm a normal guy. Like
Okay. Did
okay,
you
so
watch? Did you watch earlier in Fishtank season 2 when Cole was around, by chance?
uh yes, I was watching like really closely like the first 2 weeks.
So do you remember the scene when he left? Or no, 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 no. It was it was the lecture that Sam had with him like a few days before he left about poor people.
No, I didn't see
It was
this.
like he was
What
talking
is
about
the
Brian in particular.
okay?
Brian, that's why the Brian working or going to soup kitchens is like a meme now because Brian like the lecture that he gave Cole privately was either before or after the crazy challenge they had where Brian was like screaming out about the soup kitchens. But Sam Hyde said, poor people suck to Cole during this like lecture. And then he was like, Cole was like, well, I mean, rich people suck. Like everyone sucks. And he's like, no, poor people suck. And then he like bashed something in and left.
Oh,
But it was like, it was during a moment when this like, it's, I don't know. It's like, it's Andy Kaufman fucking politics shit. It's crazy the way that he worked like the narrative, right? Because it's like this leftist, like moderately like socialist, like at least liberal, like socially liberal, this Brian guy sleeping around like fucking like I don't know, like freewheeling it, like slumming, whatever. He's kind of
yeah.
dirty and he's like poor, but he went to college and he's like complaining and like blaming other people for his problems. And it's like,
In some way, like Brian, like really represents like a whole demographic of people.
you don't want to be a Brian.
Right, but I feel like we all know like a Brian or people like Brian. Like he sort of like represents like that type.
When he first came in, I was like, oh wait, he was like a late edition or something. I was like really surprised. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, no homo, but he's like theoretically, intellectually, an attractive guy who like can get by on like that's a weird thing to say for like a guy, and I guess it's misogynistic.
No,
What's
I think he has like the
what do you
male
say
version
about
of pretty
girls?
privilege. Like I know what you're talking about. Like he doesn't like it. Like he's poor, but yet he's living like someone who has made successes for himself. Like he just sort of slips by somehow because there is some sort of innate prejudice, positive prejudice for better looking people, and that's just some weird human psychology trait that we all suffer.
Yeah, it's weird. Like he's actually very attractive. He looks like almost like I don't know. He looks like a specific movie star from like the 80s or 90s. Like a young Tom Hanks or something. I don't know.
Like a Jake Gyllenhaal sort
Or
of.
Tom Cruise, I mean. Jake Gyllenhaal, Channing Tatum.
Tom Cruise is not a good looking guy.
Well, when he was younger. Oh, you think
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I
I think
guess
Tom Cruise is
he's kind of
ugly.
he's kind of weird looking. Are you not a Tom Cruise guy?
I don't like Tom Cruise that much. You know who I really don't like is I forgot his name. He just had a 62nd birthday recently. Jim Carrey. I don't like that guy.
62nd birthday.
Yeah, he's six. I think he's 62 years old. Jim Carrey
no,
is.
I thought you said his birthday like it lasted 60 seconds.
Oh, 62, 62nd. Yes.
I was like, so he was like
Confusion
born
on
in a
this.
leap year maybe, and there's like something weird with the moon.
They all timed it out perfectly.
No, he was just on a lot of acid. That's what he does now, right?
Is that why he's so weird now? He's got this giant beard,
Have you seen the weird like
growing his hair out.
The Oscar thing, like the interview he gave at the Oscars, at the red carpet a few years back, where he's like,
No, I haven't.
someone asks him about like a movie. It's almost like that. There's a Jeff Goldblum one that's like really popular too, where he's kind of like spaced out, and they're like asking about what's going to happen with like the franchise and this superhero and what's the future. And he's like, I don't know anything about. He's basically saying like, I'm not a nerd. Sorry. But with Jim Carrey, he was like literally like seemed like he was on acid. He was like talking about like, I don't know. Like someone asked him about like his career or like what I don't know. He just went off about like the universe and like yeah. It was really weird.
That's the thing about acid. Like, it can be good, it can be bad. It all depends what you do during that
Go to
time
the
you're on
go to the
acid.
Oscars when you're like one of the most famous people on the planet and have a bunch of cameras on you.
Well, I think like what it is, like, okay, I think about psychedelics sometimes, and it's like what I think it is, it's like you're experiencing like a year of experiences within like that 7 hour period of you being on acid. 'Cause, like,
Yeah, that makes
the
sense.
memories that you have, like they stick with you. Like
Every
if
15
you're
minutes
let's say
is like
watching a show while you're on acid, you're gonna remember that show for the rest of your life, as if it was an experience that you had for the course of longer
Oh.
than a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I definitely have like LPs that I connect with because I was high on acid.
Right. So it's making some sort of like deep carbs in the brain, or maybe cementing some sort of synapses connections. And that's something like if you're going to do LSD, you need to really consider what you're going to do while you're on LSD, because that's probably going to stick with you for the rest of your life, or it's going to have some sort of long lasting effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think mushrooms too?
Like, don't get into. I think mushrooms, yeah.
Yeah, mushrooms, they're like almost not as, they're like more potent, but not at the same time. They're like,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone always says they're like emotional.
Like the worst thing you could do for yourself is to take psychedelics and then just start doing a bunch of research on like conspiracy theories. 'Cause you're never going to snap out of it.
Yeah, no,
It's
one
just going to
thing
ruin your brain.
I had a friend of mine who I think was just like kind of generally annoyed by me. just like even outside of like our acid trip together, but he like said something rude to me, and yeah, that was fucking crazy. I was like, dude, we just had like this nice day together. We were fucking riding our bikes in the sunshine. I'm like, sorry, I like talked too much for a second.
Interesting.
It was
So
weird, but
so he
also
said
that guy
that
was
like
kind of an
while
asshole.
you were so like while you were still in it, that's when he made that rude
Yeah,
comment.
yeah, but it was
Okay.
like it was probably I probably blew it out of proportion in my head. I'm
Oh,
not
that'll
sure.
happen for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
we're
was
just
another thing. The first time I ever did
spirals.
mushrooms, there was a guy that started chopping away at this bush with like a Bowie knife, and it freaked me the fuck out. I was like, "Why you got a
Wow.
knife, man?" Like I didn't even know he had a knife.
Yeah, one time I was on acid and I cut open a kiwi and it was bright green on the inside like kiwis are. And I felt like I was doing something invasive to this fruit. Like, oh, I really shouldn't be seeing this inside. Like this is so personal to the kiwi. It's one of the way the brain operates on
The other
drugs. It's
story,
not always logical.
yeah, no, with like weird viscous fluids. I have a friend that tells a story about puking while he was on acid,
Whoa.
but then he like thought that it was like an egg or something. It was weird.
Oh man.
But
He thought he was
one
giving
time I
birth
was
through the
like,
mouth, alien style.
yeah, I don't even know.
Awesome.
Really gross. Okay, so one time I was like going 30, 35 miles an hour on like a bike without a helmet, and there was like branches in the road, and I was really
Okay.
high on LSD,
Yeah.
and I had a near death experience like years later. I don't know. I don't know.
Near death experience. I've never had one of those.
I had a I like I'm just like full of stories right now. I like did a 360 on the freeway on the ice and like ended up on the shoulder with like a bunch of cars like around me just zooming.
Oh.
So I did like a
Jeez.
180 basically. And
Wait,
like
so what do you mean 360? Like on what on what's the pivot point?
I turned like to the right or like 180 degrees actually.
Down?
Like like just to the side. Like it was like I was going downhill and to the right and hit like a patch of ice. So I just like started
Oh.
spinning. But there was like cars like right in like in the lane to this the right side of me and I was like going past them.
Actually I don't think I ever learned where you live.
Like North Seattle area ish.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm in Colorado now. So we're both on the west.
Yeah, Colorado's more west than I realized earlier in my life, I guess.
Yeah,
I've never been there.
they don't I don't think they wear cowboy boots out here, but maybe if I went out into the more smaller towns might see them.
Interesting. Well, that sort of fashion on the in Portland and Seattle isn't. Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's not true. I think you can usually find some cowboy shit at thrift stores in Seattle,
Huh.
but it is a big
I,
city.
yeah. Yeah, I lived in Texas and that's a whole different story. A lot of cowboy stuff down there.
I want to go to like Arizona and deal turquoise.
Arizona is the only place I've been where I've seen um, people like conceal and carry, like they have a handgun like on their belt in the grocery store. I've never seen that anywhere else, not even Texas.
I've seen it
Open
here
carry,
and
I think that
there.
they call that.
I've seen it
Have you
here
seen
and
that?
there, but
Really?
I'm
In Washington,
actually,
really?
yeah, I'm in a city I think that is not typical.
Hmm.
It's almost uh it's almost like the rural area outside of Seattle.
I see. I see.
or it was like
Yeah, I mean, like
30
it is
years
still
ago.
like in the West. Like you have to think like the West and Texas are so similar when it comes to like my freedom, type people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think Seattle maybe is a little bit corrupted, probably from like Portlandia, whatever that show was that promoted hipsters to go out that direction.
I
But
don't even like hang out in Seattle proper too much the past few years. But
mm,
a lot of people's perception of it is that like just a bunch of people move there to work at the Amazon bubble and it's too expensive.
yeah, you're right. Why was I blaming the? Or I don't even remember what show I'm trying to talk about.
No,
Is that what
Portlandia,
it's called?
it's
That's the show.
yeah. But like local Seattle politics are weird. I don't know. I spoke to
Were
a
you living in Seattle when the Chaz happened?
yeah. Believe it or not. Oh my God, can I reveal this information? Oh my God. I don't know if he'll
All
okay.
right, you could
Well,
maybe try to mask it
the friend of the
somehow.
show, the only other friend of the show really, was there.
Whoa! Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, he was there and
It was
he
living
has a lot of
history.
stories to tell about it.
Damn.
But yeah,
What,
it's
you
pretty
know
like
what's crazy?
ramshackle
Like, I wish
operation.
there were like movies like around that type of like in that setting because that is probably one of the most unique events in American history, in my opinion.
Yeah, who would direct that like faithfully though?
I know that's the thing. Like Hollywood itself is just so corrupt. Like Harvey Weinstein wasn't the only one. Let's just say that. And they
Yeah.
definitely have like a theme or maybe a political standing that's pretty hard set.
Just a
I,
lot
I
of
know they were
censors and shit. I don't know.
right.
A lot of
Oh yeah, I mean
PR
just to have like
people.
one town make all the movies, it's insane. They should
Yeah,
they
with
should
like
make
the
another
same
Hollywood in
companies.
like Atlanta or something.
I have my opinions about Hollywood are that like just movies just aren't the same anymore. I should probably gather more data on that and watch more new movies, but I've not as interested in like post 2010 sort of era films.
I think what it is movies have this expectation to like continue to be better and better and better, and with that comes the cost of that. So it's like movies from decades ago didn't cost hundreds of millions of dollars to produce. So there's less pressure, which gives you more creative freedom. But now that you basically have this expectation of, okay, if we're going to greenlight this movie, we're going to have to put $300 million into it. Well, that adds a bunch of pressure to make sure you make that money back. People
Yeah.
just can't like make cheap movies anymore. Like it's not acceptable, and that just ruins the art.
Yeah. That is no, that's a good point because yeah, that's where all those like censors and standards department things come from is securing the investment, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think, I think it's probably more about money than it is about how they feel politically.
Yeah, and it's like the same it's it's not like the same stories being told over and over, but like the rhythms of like cinematic moments and like the fact that like there's never a silent moment in like the soundtrack to a movie ever anymore. That
Wow.
bugs me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it always has to be flowing into this like multimedia spectacle. You know what I mean? And the music just never stops. That's like one of the things. Like music just never stops in movies anymore. There's like one moment of silence, like right before the climax, that's like meant to for like emotional pull. You know.
Right.
But
Are
I
you
watched.
familiar with?
Go ahead.
Oh, go on. I was going to ask if you're familiar with Vincent Gallo.
No, but I was gonna talk about some old movie shit. What did he? Is he a director?
Um, yeah, he's like an insane person that somehow is able to make movies, and he hasn't made movies for a while.
Did
Like
he
he
make
made Buffalo '66 and The Brown Bunny.
Mother Dearest or Mother or
Mm.
something? No.
No, Mother. I think that's Zach Safdie. I don't think I'm saying his name wrong. Oh, never mind. That's Darren Aronofsky. Who's I think?
Oh, okay.
The guy who did Uncut Gems. I was thinking of that guy. I thought that was the same movie.
No,
Uncut Gems.
Buffalo 66. I've definitely heard the name. What else did he make?
Buffalo '66 and The Brown Bunny. Pretty much like the only known ones. And I guess he's like trying to cast a movie now, but he just immediately got into controversy because I don't know, he was like sexually harassing some chick who was auditioning for a role or something, which isn't surprising. Like he is an insane person, but
Damn.
like he's also an artist, and I wouldn't be surprised if, like in today's age, he put out a movie where there was, a scene of just like silence because he's also like an artistic person.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Um,
all. That's all it was. That's all
who's
where I was going.
who's the guy? Warner Herzog? Do you like him?
I know who that is.
He's
Werner
like another like
Herzog.
kind of like crazy guy. I don't know if he's like like assaulted any. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually had, but he's worked with Dan Harmon actually as a voice actor.
Okay.
He's another like weirdo, crazy person, filmmaker that I kind of want to get into.
I'm looking at his list of movies now too. Werner
I don't think I've
Herzog
seen
eats
any
his
of them.
shoe. What the heck is that?
He's like experimental as fuck. He's almost like Tommy Wiseau or something, but more respectable.
Oh, interesting.
But he's been around for a while though.
I would love to. I mean, it's so weird, like that we're not in an age of experimentalism. Like even with the internet, like people still want to put themselves in these cookie cutter molds. It's like, why? Like, we have freedom to really do anything. Like, why are we still trying to conform the way we are?
I feel
And
like
it seems like it's getting worse.
it's weird to think of experimental as like a genre in itself too. Especially like for music, I think that's the answer, is like
Mm.
not not like specifically classifying yourself as experimental, but that's definitely like the notion of like
That's the thing.
what we
Yeah.
need.
Like, you make music, I make music. And, like, I think it's just a death trap to all your genre experimental. Because there's so much bad experimental out there. There's so many people who just don't give a shit. And they're just putting
Experimental is something that has to come like uh speak for itself, right?
Mm.
Like label it, but if like other people, I would consider it a compliment if other people labeled my music experimental, but I wouldn't like say it about myself. I might actually use that
Yeah.
tag.
I think my music is experimental, but like accidentally. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think just whatever your style is how people take it in.
I like Phil Elverum a lot. I think I even talked about him on the last episode of the podcast, maybe. But he's yeah, a lot of people consider him like indie folk singer songwriter or whatever, but he's definitely just an experimental musician. I think there's a lot of value. I think you'll vibe with this. I also want to ask you a question about like breakcore, which is like an interesting genre that's like gotten buzz lately. But I think wait, what was I? It's on the tip of my tongue. The okay, so this is not only for music, but to use music as an example, like the best stuff is the stuff that like redefines what music even is, kind of.
Um. Okay.
Like pushing the boundaries of like how it's packaged. I guess that's the whole thing with pop music is that it's always commodified and packaged. So just, but music in general, I don't know.
So I think like one good example of this is Kanye West 808s and Heartbreaks from 2008.
I was gonna say
And
Kanye, but didn't he do something like okay, Life of Pablo? He updated it.
yeah, yeah. Which
Okay,
that was a shit show. It could have been, in concept, it sounds cool, but it wasn't good. It
yeah,
just was sloppy.
it could have been an entirely like evolving animal.
Yeah, I wish like when he talks about himself and he talks about all these great ideas, I wish he would actually commit to these ideas and make them great instead of just like half-assing it and then describing it as this great thing.
And then like moving
The
on to his
common thing
next
for
idea
Kanye West.
after that.
Yeah, just like forgetting about it. This
Yeah.
is the living, breathing album that you're seeing transform in real time. It's like what you like added a fucking drum somewhere, didn't mention it anywhere.
Yeah, you separated
Just
one
like
of the
randomly.
tracks out into a separate track.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, this is a different vocalist here now. Okay,
But no, I see what
It's
you're
like,
saying with 808s and
what do you got to do? Just
Heartbreaks.
listen to it 80 times to catch them. Yeah, 808s and Heartbreaks. Um, so I was gonna say about that is like that came at a time when like this is early 2000s hip hop, like baggy jeans, the flat brim caps, and
50 Cent.
808's 50 Cent, and he was up against 50 Cent with that album. Like there was like a basically a standoff between them, like who's going to make more sales on this release date that they share.
Oh yeah.
And so 50 Cent, he's like, all right, I'm the best in hip hop. Here's my hip hop album. It was what you would expect in early 2000s hip hop. Then Kanye West, he released, these slow melodic drums. It's sort of lo-fi before lo-fi existed. And he's just singing in auto-tune, which auto-tune was new in itself too. And auto-tune was really only used by like T-Pain, but like in a more R&B way. So Kanye West was like almost creating this weird genre. And like from that, like Drake was able to then express his more soft side with singing and stuff.
Yeah.
And like from there it blew up. Then you got The Weeknd. You got all these people now who are in this like new version of, I guess, hip hop.
I used to think that like Lupe Fiasco was like the real Kanye West when like both of them were coming up.
What?
I don't
What do
know
you
why.
mean?
I don't know because he was just like all he like had a backpack sort of vibe to him.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I
Forgot
never
about
really
that whole
listened to him too
backpack
much.
rap stuff.
He never got big. I don't think anyone listens to fucking Lupe Fiasco.
Looking him up now. I don't
I
know
can't
much
even
about
think of a
this guy.
Lupe Fiasco song honestly, but he's got that vibe.
Oh,
Wale,
Kick Push. Do you remember that one? I remember that song.
I don't know.
So it's skateboarding. Kick, push, kick, push.
For real? See, backpacker.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
2006. Holy.
It was a weird time.
Oh wait, you just mentioned someone else. I forgot what you said.
Um, Lupe
The audience
Fiasco.
has the audience has the ability to go back 10 seconds and say, "What's this? Why did you forget? You guys are so stupid."
That's what I did with breakcore. That's why I wanted to bring it up again because I did that
Ah,
last
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But was that the thing?
No, but we could talk about
No,
breakcore.
I mentioned some other artist. You said,
You did, yeah.
and it wasn't Kanye. Did I say Radiohead?
Oh,
Well, I was gonna
Oh,
say
man.
Radiohead. Kind
you're
of.
driving the audience crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
Huh.
this is why I have to stop smoking weed too.
I'm like all
Um,
over the place myself.
Radiohead is one of those acts that like fucked with the music industry too with In Rainbows.
Okay. I'm really not too familiar with like anything before 2004.
This was a little after. Okay, so what they did was it was like pay what you want digital.
Oh, that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Which isn't really about the music, and it's definitely not the best Radiohead album, but it was interesting that they promoted it differently.
I love all the synth stuff that Radiohead does. There's one that's like trending on TikTok right now, but I wouldn't know enough to even know the name.
Was it a
But they
bedroom
use like
pop
really, really
artist?
nice.
We were talking about bedroom pop. Sorry, I was going back to that thing where you're like,
Yeah.
well,
Crap. I mean, we could spend the rest of the episode trying to remember what we said.
no, but the bedroom pop thing intrigued me too because, or no, you said lo-fi.
Yeah, I mentioned lo-fi. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know about like bedroom pop too. I think bedroom pop is like this weird. I think it was this. I think it was the industry's response to SoundCloud taking away attention from the traditional streaming platforms.
Okay.
Like if they were to like corporatize bedroom pop, which like people wanted to listen to, people making music in their homes and just posting on SoundCloud. That's what was the rage in like 2014, 2015. So if they could corporatize that and make people famous and call it bedroom pop, like I don't believe Billie Eilish is organic in her uprising.
Is Billie Eilish considered bedroom pop, really?
The story of Billie Eilish was one day she posted Ocean Eyes on SoundCloud, and overnight it was a smash hit.
Okay.
And it was like being retweeted by like celebrities and shit. And it's like that does not happen. So I think like that was maybe the industry's way of like taking back what's theirs, taking the spotlight back, saying, "Oh yeah, this is bedroom pop. We have it here."
That's interesting. Do you think people would even consider her bedroom pop though? Like as much as some other artists that came later?
I don't even think like that's why I think like this whole thing was a ploy. Like people don't really talk about bedroom pop anymore.
All I know is Biba Doobie and isn't like Olivia Rodriguez kind of that too?
Oh yeah, you're right. I think they would consider her that. Yeah.
I mean, Olivia
I think
Rodriguez
even, like-
is kind of like new Billie Eilish. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I think at one time, like even Taylor Swift was marketed as someone who's like laying on her floor writing songs into a notepad.
Yeah, well,
I
that's the
think
thing.
it is like some weird marketing stuff. And that's what I was saying. Like with bedroom pop, like I don't think it's a thing anymore. I think it was just a way to take back the listeners that they had lost. And now that everyone's back and listening to Billie Eilish and Olivia Rodrigo, like they don't need to call it that anymore. It's just pop now.
Yeah, but there's also another I feel like there's another cultural shift in bedroom pop in like the early 2000s. I've referred to like early 2000s music as like pre-bedroom pop because of the sort of like the hollowing out of the music industry and the lack of like record contracts to go around.
Yeah.
It was almost like there was a golden age like right before 2005 of like bands that were still like working in professional studios with like an indie sound, right?
Yeah.
And then a lot of those bands failed. The books failed. The beta band failed. And they both like stated up front that it was like for financial reasons. And now it's like 2023 Animal Collective couldn't like book a tour because it wasn't profitable. So that's still going on or whatever. But like, yeah, I just feel like the music, like Spotify literally like ruined everything for everyone.
You think so? Why? Because of like it's just less money now for the artist?
Yeah, I guess it's like the opposite problem of what you're describing with like the film industry, where it's like you don't have the money to even make your ideas come to fruition in the first place. I don't know.
Yeah.
At least like the real creative people who like deserve that money, who are like the biggest earning, like the people who get like the biggest contracts for like
Drake.
new albums. It's like not fucking creative people. Like, I don't know. Drake, I like some Drake songs. I wouldn't actually talk shit too much shit on Drake.
Well, Drake was good in 2016 and prior, but now it's just he's just shitting out albums now.
I don't listen to his albums, but I liked God's Plan.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
It's like around. That's like his best song in my opinion that I've heard.
God's Plan. What is that? Is that 2015? Trying to remember when that song came out. 2014, maybe?
I don't know, when were they giving out $1 million to Black Lives Matter protesters?
Oh God. Oh yeah, you're right. 2018.
Wasn't that what it was? Like he was just like giving
That's
people
way more
cash.
recent than I thought. I what? Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he would like okay, so like Kanye West
I
gave
know
like
that
$5 million.
Kiki song.
Do you know Kanye
Okay.
West gave 5 million to like Sandra Bland's estate or something?
Who is Sandra Bland?
One of the
Probably an offensive question.
one of I think she was the black lady that like got ran up in her house.
Oh yeah, they went to the wrong address.
Yeah.
They, they shot her.
So he was like, yeah, Sandra Bland Foundation, $5 million. And I think that was like right before the God's Plan music video came out.
Okay.
And in the music video, he's like giving stacks of cash to people.
This the feud between Kanye West and Drake is so weird. Because Kanye West like idolizes Drake.
Yeah, and then at the time when they like everyone thought that they were like really on the rocks, he like shows up in like the new Drake shows up in like the new Yeezy like silhouette at like one of his
Oh.
concerts. It's like yeah, they seem to
Oh.
like be frenemies like crazy.
Yeah, they had the Free Larry Hoover concert. Found
Uh,
the two. They were
yeah.
together. But I don't know. I mean, I think Kanye West is a manic person. Maybe similar to Summer from Fishtank. He might suffer a similar uh brain situation.
Yeah, no.
Like when people get manic, like they're I think it feels really, really good. And so they just do crazy shit and like it's a dopamine
You
rush,
get like delusional too. Like you don't even know what's happening.
right?
Well, you kind of know what's happening, but it's like like it's like a distorted version of what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so before we go though,
Okay. All right,
what?
the end here.
Yeah, we've done an hour.
Okay.
I want
Whoa.
I want to
Good
ask
episode.
you.
Good episode.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We talked mostly. We had a fish tank for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But
Yeah.
what do you think about breakcore? And did you see any of like the social media posts going around about it, or was that just am I just imagining
Um,
things?
Breakcore is like drum and bass, right?
Right, right,
Okay,
right.
yeah. So I don't know. I listened to the music. I didn't hear of any controversy around it though.
Well,
What
people
I've
were
heard
just
is like drum and bass is coming up next. Like that's 2024, the year of maybe it's called breakcore now. I don't know.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, what exactly is the difference? I guess is like I don't know.
Yeah, like people say like, oh, I don't listen to drum and bass. I listen to jungle, which I guess is just drum and bass. Like I can't tell the difference when I listen to jungle playlist versus drum and bass.
It's
Hey,
it's
breakcore's the same way.
it's not a lot of variety in the drum sounds or like tempos.
Right. Yeah,
But
I think what they literally do is take like a drum break and just speed it up. I don't even think they're writing drums and drum and bass.
I almost feel like breakcore might just be drum and bass that's like slightly slowed down, like by
Okay.
like
Maybe
10%.
like breakcore is the more futuristic version and then like jungle is the more like kind of retro-y type stuff.
I think early break. Now that I'm thinking of it, I want to say that early breakcore was like something different because like now it's almost like a lo-fi vibe. Like, do you know Pink Panthers?
Yeah, yeah, I've come across that
People
artist a
call
little
her like
bit.
breakcore.
Yeah.
Like her most famous thing is like the Adam F song is like flipped, which is just
Oh,
a drum and bass song. from the 90s. But like, I don't know. I just feel like it's like, it might be like the bedroom popization of drum and bass, honestly. It's like the like soft, girly version of it.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, we're seeing like a really weird like music right now is kind of like in an awkward place. Like hyperpop music isn't good. But it's like really what represents modern music today. And like I don't even think people that are like interested in music like hyperpop that much. Like it really is just loud noise. I think we've gotten to like a weird awkward time where like we're like
Hyperpop is
lost and
too
directionless.
vague. Hyperpop became like synonym for just 100 gex.
Yeah,
I feel
like
like.
maybe PC music I think is sort of the same thing.
I've only heard a couple of those. You know, it's
Yeah.
something
I
that
mean
I'm
it's
like,
just
as
be
yeah,
loud and obnoxious and don't really try.
I'm
That's
like
that's the genre.
vaguely sort of like interested in it, and I listen to a lot of like Drain Gang stuff actually, but
Okay.
I think that
I think you
they're
actually recommended them to me before.
I think they're
I don't know if I even
interesting
listened.
like songwriters, Blade and Young Lean.
Okay.
I think Young Lean's like a weird, I don't know. As far as like white rappers, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if they would even
Oh,
consider
this guy.
themselves. I don't know if they would consider themselves hyperpop, but I feel like the sound is there a little bit. I
Yeah.
would consider all of their music, all that label, year zero, year one, I think it's called, um, like dance rap with like a lot of auto tune, but not necessarily hyperpop.
Yeah. That's like kind of the interesting thing about music too is like usually there has to be a setting of where the listener is when listening to the song in mind while making the song. Like, oh, is this music for the dance club? Is this music when you're hanging out with friends? Is this music to play poker to? Is this music for
Mm.
late night drives? Is this study music?
That's kind of what
Like,
it is too with breakcore. Is that
yeah,
it's the same thing as drum and bass, only like you listen to it like they say IDM, you listen to it at home.
yeah.
But
And
I
that,
like
yeah,
the
it sort of gets
weird.
into like whether or not like music is good to some people. Like some people don't like music unless they can picture themselves dancing to it at the club. And it just like completely distorts how music is consumed.
That's weird. That's an interesting. Okay, yeah. I think yeah, people consider themselves like performing a song often when they listen to it. Maybe I don't really know,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, oh, I don't like the song because I can't sing along to it.
or I don't like relate
Like
to
that
it
plays a role.
personally.
That's true.
But I
Yeah.
think I've come to the philosophy with like lyricism, that like all good songs are like lies. Like love songs are like
Okay.
lies, right?
Oh,
Because
this is interesting.
it's like you're talking about the pain that you feel when it's really just it's like a peacock thing where it's like I'm gonna sing this for my love to let them know how much they affect me, but I'm not actually that
Uh,
hurt by them, you know.
I wouldn't. Okay, I think you're making an interesting point, but I wouldn't blanket statements like put that over like
But like the best
all good
ones,
songs. Like,
like I'm talking about weird shit too. Like my tastes are weird. Like I'm into like Deerhoof, and they have like this one album that's like it's a love album, but it's called Breakup Song.
okay,
So it's like
that's funny.
conflicted in all these ways, and they have this philosophy about their music where they don't inject emotion into it, but they want listeners to like make a. There, I could talk about Deerhoof for a while, but like, yeah, love
It kind of
ballads
reminds
are a
me
different
of.
thing, maybe.
It kind of reminds me of my most recent album. I don't know when this comes out. I have another album coming out February 16th, 2024. This is my self plug. But my most recent one, it's called Healing Nothing More, and it's an album about suicide. It's you're listening to the narrative of this guy who walks into the ocean and drowns himself. But I called it Healing Nothing More, and that's similar to this deer hoof thing that she said, where it's about love, but it's called breakup. I think that
Uh,
dichotomy of like energies, like there's something to explore there because you're looking in between these polar opposites.
yeah. Are there, I listened to it once. Is there even much lyrics in there?
There's not much lyrics, so you have to look at the song titles.
Yeah.
The song titles is I walk to the beach. Uh, I made this a year ago, so I already forgot. I walk to the beach. I walk into the water. He says, one song is called "The Water Is Not," or "The Water Is Cold," but in the song I'm saying, "Oh, it's not so cold." And then we get this song where it's kind of like this release of dopamine, and this is like when the guy who's in the ocean is kind of like forgetting where he is, Like the song, it sounds like a live performance on a stage. It's completely different from all of the other songs where we got this crazy electronic energy. So he's like, oh, like I'm finally in this moment and it feels so good, and he kind of like loses himself. And then we get back into like where we were before that, and he's facing this reality of him about to drown. I guess it's hard to maybe pick it up if you don't know that, but I hope the song titles help and all the sound effects of the ocean and going underwater
No, that's cool.
help. But that's, yeah.
I'm gonna revisit it and revisit it. But it reminds me of
Yeah,
that. There's a Radiohead song called "The Tourist" from OK Computer. I used to be
that sounds
obsessed with them.
familiar.
It's very. It sounds like that vibe because it's about a guy that like. Well, there's like theories about the concept of the album, but I think it's a guy that's like shipwrecked or something, and he's like dying. But yeah, the other thing that brings me back to, and we maybe leave it at this, but ever since
Okay.
I got the first band that I was hyper obsessed with was Korn back in like late 90s,
Well,
early 2001 issues, and they do the same thing of like bit of like almost like yammy kawaii, like sick cute, fucking mixing ultra positive and ultra negative because there's like music boxes and like references to like Mr. Rogers and shit, but it's like meant
what
to
the hell?
be a little bit twisted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're actually incorporating like those pleasant, like almost childlike sounds into the music.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. You present two opposite things and then you're free to explore everything in between.
Yeah. Well, I'll check out that album a little bit more. It is
Yes.
Healing Nothing More,
Healing, nothing more.
Monti
Yes.
Korbelle, and a new one coming soon. I'll be working on music in February too, and hopefully in March have
Awesome.
something to report. We'll look forward to that though. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go smoke some cigarettes. I think this was like very productive, despite forgetting one of the threads of conversation earlier. I'm gonna blame myself for that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
go back in the recording and text me afterwards and be like, it was this. And then we're gonna be like, crap.
it's
Maybe it
literally
wasn't
it's like
even
the third
important.
or fourth time this has happened in 10 episodes. So I'm
It was just
sorry.
like,
I'm
I think it
sorry,
was just like
everyone.
some guy's name. I don't even know if I even know that artist that well. So maybe Wednesday even led to a good conversation. We had good conversations otherwise. That's what I think.
Have you ever listened? One last thing. Have you ever listened to Beach
Okay.
House?
No.
Oh, they're so good. But you listen to a lot of
I was
electronica?
thinking Pet Shop. Yes. I listen to
Okay,
like a lot of foreign music too. I don't really care about lyrics, so I listen to stuff from all around the world.
that's chill. I've been getting into some Korean music,
Korean, cool. Yeah,
maybe,
maybe we
and
could
some
share some music
Japanese
after
music.
this.
All right, chill. Thanks. Maybe come back in a few weeks or so. We'll keep in touch.
Yeah, this is fun.
And yeah, have a good one, everyone.
Yes. Peace out.
I love
Follow
you.
me on
Bye.
Spotify.
Oh yeah, check out the Spotify. Check out Friendship Emulator on Twitter, and also there's a Patreon where there's some bonus comic strips that I make. So yeah, and maybe some bonus episodes in the distant future, but no promises. Thanks again. Peace.
Peace.